All right. Welcome to the Unicorn After Dark. We're not only talking about all things independent comics, but everything comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Seamus.
And today, people, we're back at again another episode of the Unicorn After Dark, episode number 34. And we're going to be doing a continuation of a review we did a few weeks ago. So we're going to be talking about reviewing the whole complete entire season of Daredevil Born Again. That ended last week, I believe, on Disney Plus. And yeah, bro, we did. Listen, we did it. We won. We took the W.
Dude, me tweeting hashtag Save Daredevil 8 million times back in 2019 worked. The system works.
The system works, guys. Don't let the people fool you. But yeah, man, it's I'm excited, and again, obviously, thanks Seamus for joining me as always, especially this early. Like we're not used to doing podcasts this early.
This is early for us, even though it's like 1 in the afternoon.
It's like 1 in the afternoon. But yeah, man. But yeah, people. Then just to be clear, just straight up, I don't want to be mean, but it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit since the last episode dropped, so y'all had time. So yeah, we're gonna do straight spoilers here. So if you haven't finished the season, please stop what you're doing, go on Disney Plus or whatever, however you watch your Daredevil Born Again, watch it, then come back, and then so you can join in on the conversation. But yeah, man, let's get into it. Also, shout out to Mr. Brooks. Yo, Mr. Brooks, thanks again, bro, for coming through as always.
Damn.
And then he also.
Daredevil review?
He also said, we'll tweet hashtag make the damn Blade movie. Listen, man.
Listen. We've been in the trenches for the Blade movie, okay? You can't even... If you knew us, you we were there at the Eternals fucking premiere, remember? Talking about, this was okay, but I hope that Blade movie comes out.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. I think
Remember we were talking about how Marvel's gonna whitewash Blade?
Yeah. And the thing is, right, at this point when it comes to Blade, Mr. Brooks, then we'll actually go into the conversation. I don't want to hear anything about Blade now until I actually hear an announcement. I feel like me not speaking about Blade will manifest it quicker because I just talking about Blade's not doing much, you know.
When that movie gets canceled and then the only Blade thing you'll have is that one appearance in Marvel Zombies that they're teasing, Mikey might kill himself.
I might.
It
might be it for me, to be honest with you. But yeah, man. All right, Daredevil, man. Daredevil. Okay, so again, 9 episodes of this season. And right now they're filming the new season. But yeah, so we're just gonna get right into it, Seamus. And if y'all haven't watched our other review that we did a few weeks ago, along with Captain America: Brave New World, check that out. We reviewed the first 3 episodes. But yeah, man, let's get ready to. It's killing me. It's like Marvel's been playing with my emotions worse than any woman ever has.
Yeah, I love to do that shit. Man.
Yeah, they be doing that shit. All right, man. So Seamus, off rip. So we're gonna go into what we didn't like. Let's get the icks out of the way. So all right. So what did you not like about Daredevil Born Again at all? Any gripes that you had at all?
I would say the 2 weakest parts of this show are the writing / pacing and the CGI at points. I think that the writing is certainly the weakest out of any of the Daredevil seasons. It just doesn't hit the same as even season 2. I know a lot of people are debating season 2 or Born Again at the bottom of the list of Daredevil seasons, but this is objectively worse writing than season 2, and it's choppier than season 2 was, because season 2 had that issue where it was 4 episodes was that Punisher arc, and then the rest of the season was that Elektra hand arc, and it kind of felt the same thing with this show, where if episode 1, 7, and 8 were all one arc, and then the whole middle bit was the whole Muse arc, and it's worse than that because the writing is not as good. And I know we talked about it last review that it is 2 different production teams working on the show, and they just Frankensteined it together. And they still got out with like a good show, like a solid 7 show. But like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like Marvel could have just eaten the loss and refilmed everything, but they obviously didn't want to waste the money or whatever. Because it's not like they don't have billions laying around.
Yeah.
But like the writing is just the quality even in its best scenes are still like the worst scene of like Daredevil season 3. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, yeah, this is good, but like I was seeing some generational work being done back then, and now I'm only seeing like really good work, which is like, you know, it sounds like it sounds like it's terrible. It's not terrible. You're just gonna be like, yeah, that was fine, you know. Even those big moments like the Punisher speech at the end, or like Matt's speech at the end, you're like, you know, I feel like Larry David watching it. But yeah, and then the CGI in some moments I was like, ooh, you couldn't have like spent a little more time on that. You couldn't have let those VFX workers like make that just look a little more real and not as like weird. And oh, that slow-mo, the slow-mo Punisher fight in the finale, I was like, this is ruining this for me. Like, actively, it's such a weird decision. It's actively hurting my enjoyment of this fight. Like, I can't look past it.
It was too Zack Snyder for my taste. I was like, eesh, I don't. You could let it breathe more. You didn't need the slow-mo to, like, you know, to let us know that Frank's killing people.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, other than that, I think those were my two like actually big issues with the show. There are some other minor nitpicks that are like Muse. I feel like isn't really used at all. Like,
yeah, I thought he was very undercut. I thought he was undercut.
Yeah, it was like why even like try to build him up, and instead why not just use one of Marvel's like D-list New York villains? You know what I mean, like 8-Ball or something like that as like a joke. You know what I mean? Or something like, just have 8-Ball show up or some shit like that, where he's like, and then he takes her hostage after like whatever, and you're like, oh, cool. Or have 8-Ball be the bank robber or something, instead of like just those Irish dudes.
Yeah.
Painting the Irish in a bad light, damn it. But yeah, I mean, other than the writing and pacing and the CGI, everything else was pretty solid. So I think that's it for me for like criticisms.
Okay. Well, for me, it's kind of the same with you. The CGI definitely at times was a little like not terrible. It was like oof, like yeah, you could have worked on that a little bit more. Even though I did say from like day one of Daredevil, like even like back in the Netflix series, I was like, I want to see Daredevil swing and do comic booky Daredevil rope grappling hook shit, and like they did that, but it just didn't look as good because like the CGI didn't look a little rushed. So like and it took you out of the that like moment where anytime he actually did like comic book Daredevil stuff.
Yeah, and that's what's insane to me, because it was definitely added by the newer production team.
Yes,
and
it was.
It's insane. It's insane to me that the old production team was not going to have him do any of that. And I was like, you really weren't going to have him do his flips and shit? Like, yeah. And it makes me think, like, what was the show gonna be with all 8 of those, 9 or 10? Right? It was gonna be 16 at that point. Remember?
How, yeah, it was 16 episodes? 18. I think it was 18 actually.
And that's what makes me like kind of like, I like those middle episodes, but like seeing 18 of those episodes, I would have been like, this is ass, dude. Nothing happened over 18 episodes. So that it's the pacing that's so weird about those episodes that I just don't like.
Yeah, the pacing is weird because like, especially like one of my biggest gripes was the finale. Like the finale didn't really feel like a finale. It just felt like a mid-season finale. Like it felt like it's just gonna cut off, and then like you were expecting like 9 more episodes because nothing really felt resolved. I'm not saying it wasn't good. Like it was a good finale, but just like this, it was pretty much just felt like, oh, we're just like, is this a straight like just set up for the next season? Like the next season when we're gonna get to like the nitty-gritty conclusion of all this stuff, but. And again, that's pretty much like the pacing, because this show was supposed to be like 18 episodes, and like, you know, they had to they scrapped some, they took some of the footage, like we said, the footage from the original stuff that they shot and combined it together with this with new stuff, and like it felt like that. It felt like, yeah, like maybe this whole season was just like the intention of what they shot originally, but then they scrapped some things and added new stuff to it because it literally felt like, okay, we have like 9 more episodes to go. You know, so like the pacing was not the best. It was especially like the thing is like with Muse, like like I feel like Muse was like pointless. Like you said, why would they hype him up and then like have him just die and then just scrap him and that's it? Even though he died for he died in service of the plot, like his death made sense, but like I just was just like, that's it. Like he was a part of the whole marketing campaign just to have him show up in 3 episodes and die at the end. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It didn't feel earned. Weird. And it didn't feel earned. It felt weird. And yeah,
his episode was like the weakest of the whole show because it felt like it was edited in a way that was trying to wrap everything up as quickly as possible so they could get back to like real Daredevil shit.
It was edited and was written that way because they shoot in like his exposition and his backstory, like not even actually seeing scenes of his origin, but like just people just talking about like his past and his origin. And it's like it felt very like showing like, yeah, we gotta wrap this up fast. And we didn't. It felt like when it comes to Muse, I didn't really get a chance to like know Muse. Like they told me like stuff about Muse, but I didn't really get to like know him as a character. Like but yeah, man, it's just and some of the writing at times was like, this is a little oof. It's not terrible, but it's just wow. Like this sometimes especially like the scenes in the law firm, like it's just like, yeah, like it's just you all gotta like we shouldn't be spending too much time at the law firm too much unless it's for like an actual plot driven reason. Like I know the exceptions was like with Angela. With Angela, Hector's niece coming in, I like that scene a lot. But like some of like the random stuff that they shoot in at Murdoch and McDuffie, I was like, this could have been like shortened a little bit more. But yeah, it was mostly just a little bit of the writing, the pacing, and just the CG. But everything else, I thought was pretty good. For the most part. And also just the way they did Punisher, like we only saw Punisher in like 2 episodes. Again, when he was hyped up for like most of the campaign that he was like going to be in it longer. Again, it just makes it feel like to me it's like it's just half of this season was just the first it was intended to be like the first half of the season, and then like the second half was going to come through like later. I don't know. It just I wanted more Shay, but that's all I wanted. I didn't feel like even though I didn't feel like I didn't feel full at the end of that meal, bro. I was like, come on. Oh man. But anything else you want to point out at all? I mean, I think it's pretty brief in terms of like what we didn't like stuff. For the most part, I enjoyed everything else.
Yeah. There's nothing really like. I'm sure I'll talk about negative aspects of like the rest of the show, but that's more of like stuff that I just had like slight issues with. This is like nothing that this was mainly the stuff that I genuinely was like, it's tough to get through to watch the show, but yeah.
All right, man. Yeah, so we'll move on to we'll talk about it's a mix. It'll be like what we did like, but also like our favorite moments in the show. I just want to real quick just talk about, just to start it off, the action in this. I love the action in the series. Again, it's more back to like it's a complete 180 from She-Hulk. Even though I thought the action in She-Hulk for Daredevil I thought was cool, but with this it's more back to like what we're familiar with the Netflix show. It's probably even more grittier and like more brutal than that, because again we see like arms breaking. We saw Kingpin like smush a guy's head like it was a freaking watermelon. I thought the fight scene at the bank robbery was really good. Especially seeing Matt like pull a fatality, like pull an MK X-ray on that dude's leg. I thought that was crazy. The action scene besides the stuff with Punisher, because again that slow-mo for Punisher I thought was not good. But I thought that entire fight scene in Matt's apartment was very well executed. Again, really good Daredevil shit with like using the grappling hook and the batons. His fight with Muse was really good. Yeah, there was like just like both his fights with Muse were really good. Yeah, like every time we got like some good action, which again, not as much as in the as what we're used to in the Netflix shows, which is fine because like I thought the story outside of Matt being Daredevil was also pretty good. I thought there was a good balance with that, but I thought all the action that we got so far was in the whole show was really good. I think some of it might have been a little bit better than some of the stuff we've got in the Netflix stuff for sure. I don't know, Shane, what are your thoughts on the action in the season?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Again, like not as good as the original series, and it's not as strong, but it still gets the job done, and it still does have some cool moments in it. But yeah, it was solid. It was fine. It was did what it needed to do. It had some cool like the bullseye fight was cool.
Oh my gosh, that and then we talked about it in the last review. That opening scene, man, was crazy. Like it was insane.
Yeah, that was good. That fight, the one in the middle episodes, the one that was in that dude's apartment with the two cops, and then the one with that the bank robber disguised as a cop. The bank robbery episode. Both of those were cool, even though they were short. They knew to make those ones short that it was just Matt like beating on two dudes who don't know how to fight.
Yeah,
which I thought, I was like, yeah, that was good shit. But yeah, it's the action's pretty solid.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that I like with the show. Real quick, because I know we didn't talk about it much last time, but besides like the opening sequence, but we got more of him here. But I thought Wilson Bethel as Bullseye was great. Even though
dude. He was great in season 3. I mean, did you think all of a sudden he was gonna be like shit?
Yeah, no. I mean, like he was my favorite part of 3 because I mean, like Bullseye's like my favorite like Daredevil villain. So, but I thought his prison escape was awesome. Like when he did the thing with the tooth, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm hoping for next season because he's out and about. So I'm hoping we actually get like an actual costume, like a legit costume. This time. I'm hoping they'll do it, dude. I'm hoping they'll do it.
Have you seen the set pictures?
Some of them, yeah. I've only seen the one with like Charlie Cox. He's
got like the Zdarsky Bullseye one, like, and he's got the Bullseye stuff. It's just he doesn't have any of the white accents on the Bullseye stuff. And I was like, oh, then why do it then? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, dude, he's Bullseye. Just make him go. Like, why can't we just get costumes? I don't understand.
You're about to go on your costume rant again.
Because it's so stupid every fucking time. Like, you can't just like throw a costume my way and be like, yeah, here's a comic costume without a bunch of goddamn lines on it or like a weird recolor. You know what I mean? I just don't understand it. Like, you know, the last time I got it and it was incredible was when Richard E. Grant played old Loki in the first.
Oh, that was great.
And it was incredible and it looked cool. And I'm like, why can't we just do that every once in a while? Like, come on. It gets on my nerves.
That was good. That was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Wilson. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say his return as Bullseye is solid, but again, the writing doesn't quite like get him there. You know what I mean? It's mostly Winston Bethel himself getting there by being like being a really great actor and like knowing how to act as Bullseye. Because the writing itself is like, it's fine, but like the acting and everyone involved is like, this goes for all the returning cast. Like, everyone coming back is already so comfortable in their characters that like the writing being a little shaky doesn't matter because they know their characters and their deliveries are so solid that it elevates the writing because the cast is so good. You know what I mean? It's just they're all locked into playing Daredevil characters for the rest of their life, and they're all great at it, which is so. You don't get a cast like this every once in a while, you know.
Nah, not at all. I think it's like, and that's what kind of like makes the show worth watching because the performances are so good because they give their A game. I mean, even though like some of the writing wasn't like all there at times, I thought like Charlie Cox like gave one of the best performances as like Matt Murdock in Daredevil that he's given in since like the Netflix shows. Same with I think it's my favorite version of Fisk. Like I love Fisk in this. Like I loved his arc and also their parallel storylines as in terms of their character, both of their characters. But yeah, man, yeah, I feel the same way. Like yeah, they could have served Bullseye a little bit more. But I did from what we did get with him, I thought was good. But yeah, bro. I mean, what else? What else? I mean, we'll just say off rip. Yeah, Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox. I mean, he kills it. I mean, I don't. That's like a no brainer at this point. Like he always does a good job, with as the character. You know, I really think I think his performance in this is like his performance, not just like in terms of like the storyline, but his performance, I think has been like my favorite so far. I think it's better than 1 and 2. Like it won't rival 3. 3 was crazy, but
yeah, I was gonna say 3's.
Yeah,
3 is too. This is not touching any of the original show. That's all it is for me. Is that like I think that these people are solid as hell, but like the show itself is not. It can't reach that level. You know what I mean? And I don't think we'll ever be reaching that level again. It might get close. It might touch season 2.
It might get close.
I don't think anything that this is good, but that's where the acting comes in that it makes me want to watch it, despite the fact that I'm like, this isn't as good as the last season, but these people are so good and so entertaining to watch on screen that like I do want to keep watching like this show for as many seasons as they want to go, you know.
But yeah, man, like Charlie Cox killed it. I thought he did a good job with what he was given, and I'm really looking forward to see. I mean, they kept. I love how they kept the Murdoch, you know, the Murdoch Riz, like that was. This man, like literally, I kept seeing so many memes. I mean, like, yo, Matt's just pulling like every girl he can, bro. It's like crazy. And also I did like his relationship with the therapist with Helen Glenn. I thought that was really good. That was a nice change of pace because honestly, I thought like I would want him to get back together with Karen, but obviously like their arcs like diverge after Foggy's death. But like I thought his relationship with Helen was good, and the fact that like she, and her stance on like vigilantism and that like literally clashes with him because he is a vigilante and she doesn't know he's the vigilante and she doesn't know. And especially like the last few episodes, like especially when he found out that like Fisk and Vanessa are under her counsel, and he's like, he's doing this to get to me, right? So like, man, stop, you're crazy. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go to this ball, we're gonna confront this man. And it was like I loved that, like how like he was so close. He was so close. I thought at that ball he was gonna tell her that who he was. But ended up getting shot instead.
Yeah.
Was I thought that was great. But yeah, man, I thought Matt Murdock's character, his arc, for the most part was pretty solid. Again, I hope they they give it a little bit more. Give his storyline a little bit more bite in the second season. I feel like that's the thing. The second season is gonna have more shit happening. So I hope I hope they stick to it.
Yeah, like I said it last review, is that like I can only grade this series and judge this series on a curve because it is two shows were smashed together, and I like the stuff that the new crew was doing in episode 1, 7, and 8. I like that shit, and it makes me excited for season 2. But I'm excited to see season 2 just because it will be their full vision of the show. So this season, while good, it's like I kind of feel like I have to, and that's what to your point, that it does feel like a lot of build up and a lot of groundwork being laid, because that's kind of how they spun it, because I think that they try to spin it more as like as a groundwork season because we kind of fucked up and had to change a lot of things about it. So,
yeah,
which is fine. It's fine. I hope the payoff hits in season 2, so that way I can look back on this season a little more fondly and be like, yeah, good. All that stuff that I was seeing, built up, and all the stuff that they slowly were putting breadcrumbs out in pieces for, actually paid off to something, instead of just like ending in like a very confusing season 2, which I hope doesn't happen.
Yeah. What you think of Fisk, man? I really liked Fisk in this a lot.
I mean, it's Vincent D'Onofrio. Like
Yeah.
he fucking loves playing Kingpin. He's fucking great at playing Kingpin. Of course, he was gonna come back, and no matter how disjointed and how fucked up the script was, you could have him in there like reading off like Instagram ads, and he would sound like the coolest motherfucker alive. He'd be like, "Yo, he's gonna kill me."
Yeah, no, yeah,
like,
for sure.
and I enjoyed the turn that they made with him as mayor. I enjoyed exploring more of his inner workings as mayor, because I liked that in the Zdarsky run of him being mayor. I just do also wish, I was like, whenever I was reading that, I was like, oh, I wish we saw a little more of like Kingpin day to day, because I feel like that's hilarious that like Kingpin's there, and in this show they gave it to us, and it's sad. It's pretty fun. Like him dealing with his whole him dealing with like his whole cabinet and like freaking out at everyone while also still being the Kingpin and keeping that guy who was with Vanessa locked up in his basement.
Bro, that was the funniest. That was such Kingpin shit, and I love the way they revealed that at the end, in that episode, where it's like, yeah, like you think, oh, maybe he might change a little bit, and he goes onto his freaking like Kingpin dungeon, and he's locked up the guy who Vanessa had an affair with to torture this man. And I'm like, yeah, like that. Of course, Wilson Fisk would do that shit.
I think Michael Gandolfini is one of my favorite new additions to the cast.
I didn't like him at first, but he grew on me. I didn't like him at first, but he grew on me. I was like, okay, I'm really digging this character, because like the fact that like his character is the perfect like example of like who Fisk wants on his side, someone who's like undoubtedly loyal to him, and like Fisk loves loyalty. Yeah. So I thought that like, you know, that aspect of the character, and how Fisk's, I guess, believes in him, but I honestly think that Fisk. Like the fact that Fisk even gave him that like that promotion. I mean, I feel like Fisk is using him for a gain. I honestly think he might be. I think Michael Gandolfini's character, what's his name, like David Blake, not Donald Blake, David Blake, no, Daniel Blake. Sorry. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if after whatever happens at the end of season 2, when Fisk gets thwarted, that he makes Daniel Blake the fall guy. I would not be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's definitely a situation where Kingpin's like, this kid could be on my level one day, but if that doesn't work out, then he's a great fall guy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And that's what's going to be so fun to see. You know, that whole interaction, whether or not Michael Gandolfini's character like still goes along with the fall, or if he's like, no, wait, fuck you, dude. and he double crosses Fisk at the end, and Fisk is like, that was actually good. I trained him too well. Fuck.
Yeah, I trained him too well.
Yeah, like I think that would be cool. But yeah, he's my favorite new addition. All the other additions I don't really care for. Like,
I mean, I kind of have a little soft spot for BB Urick, even though we didn't really see her that much. I just think I'm in love with her just because I think she's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. Cherry doesn't make any goddamn sense. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Get him out of my show.
Now, like with BB Urick, again, the news segments in between I thought were really cool. I think we discussed that in the review we did before. It felt more like a realized like New York. I like that. I think, and getting like an idea of what people think like from the ground. That was really cool. Again, didn't really do much. Besides like, you know, being the journalist that like Daniel Blake like clearly has like a crush on or whatever. However, at the end, like on the 8th episode during the party, and then she reveals, oh yeah, no, I am. And when she talks to the commissioner, and is like, listen, I also write under a name and under a pseudonym if you want to like actually talk about like the actual truth of what's going on. And like she revealed. I was waiting for them to reveal this, that like she knows that Wilson Fisk killed her uncle Ben Urick, and that like she's trying to he's using Daniel Blake to try to get in to get some dirt and expose him. I was like, yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted that. I was waiting for that reveal. I was like, you know what, BB, I'm for it. You took a little too much time to get going, but I'm for it. So, but I'm hoping that I feel like she's again more of a setup, but I hope that she has more. Definitely have a bigger role, more synonymous to her role that her uncle had in season 1 of Daredevil in season 2 of the show for sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Listen, shit never goes well when your Uncle Ben gets killed. Like,
Yeah.
Marvel likes to talk about what happens when a guy named Ben gets killed. You know, fucking Spider-Man is cursed for life. BB Urich is probably gonna get killed at some point.
I hope not. She too fine to get killed. She too fine to get killed, Seamus.
Franklin Richards. All right, stop fucking thirsting on main dude. Relax. Fucking, Franklin Richards went crazy when Ben died that one time. Yeah, it happens all the time. Anytime an Uncle Ben dies, everyone fucking freaks out.
Oh man.
Yeah, I like what little we got of BB Urich. It was I think the perfect amount because it never got too overbearing or too annoying when they do those little segments, and it was just at the perfect. Like right as soon as I was like, oh, it'd be cool if they had one of those little segments, it would just show up, and I'd be like, yeah, nice.
Yeah, true. But hey, all the other side characters, like especially in the cabinet, I don't really care for like what's his name, Buck, Butch or Buck, the security guard.
Yeah,
like,
knock off Wesley.
Well, knock off Wesley. Yeah. Like the cabinet, like I'm not gonna say stooge, but like the appointee, like the assistant. I think I'm gonna say her name. Her turning on the commissioner at the end. I thought that was a nice little like, aha! Like I'm not surprised that she did that shit because Kingpin is scary. But yeah, well, I'll say this real quick. What do you think of the reveal with Vanessa? That the reveal that she got Foggy killed. What do you think about that? I was happy they did that because we were thinking they were gonna do the death of Foggy Nelson from the comics. So
yeah, I was glad. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I know exactly where this is going, and I like when I know exactly where shit's going, and I'm like, it's gonna be good. I like that, Yeah, that's I because I know some people have a opinion of Vanessa, whether or not she should be just as bad as Kingpin or if she should be like completely clueless to what's going on. I fuck with both personally. Like I like a story told when she's just as bad and evil as Kingpin, and I also equally like when Kingpin has to basically like be like Spider-Man to his family and constantly like hide and make excuses for what's going on. I think both can be interesting. I do think it fits more that she would be just as bad as Kingpin in this universe, and I like that she took over his
yeah. I like how she organization. I like how she actually has like a genuine role to play in like in the crime organization for sure. I really enjoyed that a lot. It was different from like the last in the Netflix versions where like she was kind of she wasn't oblivious, like she kind of knew, but like she kind of like
no, she turned a blind eye in the original show, which is what equally is interesting. But like it's cool that they gave her a little more active role because it spices up her character a little bit. Yeah, I like I said, all the returning cast were not only good actors, but they also got good, interesting stuff to do, even though maybe it was a little messy. It is a consequence of like the change. I'm glad they got Karen in there and back.
Yeah. I was happy to see her at the end.
I'm glad they actually got Foggy in there too, instead of just because I know that the original plan before they did the whole revamp of the show was that Daredevil was just gonna time skip, and Foggy was already gonna be dead. Foggy and Karen were already gonna be dead, and Daredevil was gonna be somewhere else.
Yeah, they were gonna kill him off screen, which I was like, that's.
Which sucks. I'm like, yeah, no, I'd like to see that, and then but yeah, I like I said, I think there's a lot of good, solid things about this show. And it is definitely worth a watch. It's just don't go in expecting it to be on the same level of the original 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. Just go in being like, "This is a new thing." You know what I mean? It's like well, today's WrestleMania Saturday. It's like watching CM Punk come back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're like, I love this man. This man is one of the greatest of all time, but like he also is 46 years old. You know what I mean? That's what watching this show feels like. You're like, Daredevil is one of the GOAT Marvel shows, one of the best things they put out in years. But also, it has been like almost like 6 years since the last season, and like they completely have a new crew doing it. So like, it's good, but like, don't go in expecting too much. Just let it ride, and you'll probably be like, we're pretty satisfied with it. I think. I did enjoy watching it a lot. Yeah, because I hadn't watched the Marvel show like weekly since like Loki season 2, I think. Because all the other ones I just skipped.
Same. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like yeah, especially with people who are new to Daredevil. Like, I mean, yeah, you could just watch this show just straight up, but I feel like you'll have better context understanding if you watch the Netflix ones first before, because they don't hold your hand at all with this show at all. Like, they will reference stuff from the previous seasons all the time, and you will be lost. So I feel like I personally feel like you're doing yourself a disservice if you watch this show just straight up, like just does this and not the other seasons.
And like, and like the original 3 seasons are incredible. So like,
it's
not like it's, you know what I mean? It's not like you gotta wade through shit to get through this. Like, you're gonna watch like 3 of the best seasons of television from that decade. You know, like it's a good follow up. It's a fun, like, it feels like the it feels like when there's a franchise that does like a couple serious movies, and then like they do one like fun one that's like Aliens, you know what I mean? Where like the first Aliens is like very horror oriented and very like gritty or whatever, and then the Alien, you know, is like that, and then Aliens by James Cameron is like, oh, now let's shoot all these motherfuckers, let's have like an action movie. That's what this feels like, where you're like, the first 3 seasons very serious, very focused, it has a very, and then this one's like, let's just have fun with it, fuck it. Fisk is mayor. Daredevil's like doing backflips off buildings. Bullseye's like spitting his teeth and bouncing it off 3 lamps to kill a fucking police officer when he could have just stabbed him in the head quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I think it's like there's even a moment in the finale that I was so shocked by. It was actually pretty smart writing, where it was like, where they explore in like a sentence or two, they explain why Kingpin even like got off the hook after season 3 of Daredevil when he got arrested. Yeah, they mentioned Nadeem and like how that case kind of went around. But I was like, that's awesome that they mentioned that. And you would not know that if you didn't watch season 3 of Daredevil. So I was like, I really appreciated that. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't really got on this. I mean, yeah, Punisher was dope. Punisher was cool from what we got. You know?
Yeah, Punisher's okay. I'll do like rapid fire shit that I wanted to.
I'll bounce off of it.
Cool. Punisher's pretty cool. I like John Bernthal, of course, as always. I am concerned about that Punisher one shot, just because every time John Bernthal talks about it, he dick rides the police and military a little too much. And I'm like, hey man, listen, I understand that you personally want to respect those people who served and shit, but like, Punisher should not be a beacon for those people. Punisher should be a grim reminder for those people. You know what I mean? Because Punisher is the effects of not having proper care systems in place for veterans. You know, it's literally like a big giant billboard that's like, hey, if we don't take care of our veterans, we're gonna get like 80 of these dudes. You know, and I don't think leaning into the fact that military, like, you should be, you know. You should be holding a mirror up to those people, not, you know, just congratulating them and shaking their hand and being like,
people always forget. People always forget, especially people that serve in the military and in law enforcement. They either forget or don't realize that the Punisher is a cautionary tale. Period. He is not. He is not something to strive to, or to, you know, to admire. He is it's like he's the exciting example of like, this is what happens when shit hits the fan. Like when you said, when you don't take care of your officers, or you don't take care of veterans, they turn into fucking Punishers, right?
That's what I'm saying. If you're not properly policing, and if you're not properly giving proper care systems, like mental health systems, or like proper Medicare and shit like that to these people, then they're gonna turn into these guys because they have gone through like insane amounts of trauma, or so, you know what I mean? Like especially with veterans. With police, it's a different deal, because as shown in the show with the Punisher Task Force,
which is one of my favorite parts of the show.
Yeah, they show that if you don't take care of your veterans, they're going to turn out like Punisher. And if you don't police your police, they're going to turn out like the fucking Punisher Task Force, which I love
Mhm.
those scenes of them like framing random robbers by shooting them and then framing them as vigilantes, like mass
Yeah, that
vigilantes.
there
And
literally like
then
that one scene where that cop shot that kid, and he was like, "Why he was a kid?" And he was
yeah,
like, he puts the mask over his hat over his eyes, like, no, he was a vigilante. Crazy.
yeah,
And,
and
and,
then
and
killing White Tiger, and then basically like trying to bully Matt and like fucking with everyone. I loved how
Mhm.
they portrayed the cops as just another gang in New York City run by the Kingpin,
and
and I was like,
and
that's incredible. And then having Punisher at the end go and be like, kill all those dudes. I was like, fuck yeah, that's exactly what Punisher would do. Because I know there's that fucking scene in the comic where he like rips up the Punisher sticker. He's like, you're not supposed to be like me, and I'm like, that's not what Punisher would do. Punisher would look at those dudes and go,
well,
fuck you, and then shoot them. Like he
Well,
would
from
just
what from what I remember, if in that scene in the comic, he rips up the sticker and is like, "You shouldn't be like me." Is like, "You're supposed to protect and serve." That's not what I do. I it's like, again, cautionary tale. And he said, "If I see you guys again with this sticker on your car, I will fucking kill you." He threatened them. He sort of threatened them
yeah.
not to do it again. But
I'm saying Punisher is a guy who shoots on sight. He's not a guy who's like, I promise I'll kill you. He's a guy who's just like, oh,
yeah, but
like that's because he's unhinged. But I like how in this show they made him that. They like he was like,
Mhm.
okay, these guys are wearing my symbol, killing dudes. Fucking, I'm
Yeah.
killing them. Like fucking, what do you
Mhm.
think I'm gonna do?
and,
Because
and, and I want to say, like, just to piggyback off what you said when you said, yeah, like the Kingpin treats the vigilante task force like his own, like, just another gang that he can control that in New York. Which I'm like, listen, man, and knowing the NYPD, man, that's pretty much what they are. Because the
that's what I'm saying.
NYPD,
Because
the NYPD, and like the LAPD and like the Chicago PD are some of the most corrupt police force in the country. So I'm just
Yeah.
like that's what they're always described by like communities that have always been wronged by the police. It's just another gang, period. So
there's so many pieces of media that like you want to talk about like GTA San Andreas, like The Shield, like fucking
mhm.
even The Wire to some
The
extent.
Wire, yep.
All these pieces of media that's basically like, yeah, all these big city police departments are just glorified gangs. Like they do the
Yeah.
same shit. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that they kept that same smoke for the police using the Punisher storyline, because I think it is interesting to have the Punisher directly engage with that, because the Punisher is Frank is this crazy fucking dude who's like taking whatever kind of like grief and anger out on whoever he can find and justifying it through some very morally horrific and
Like
dubious
code. Yeah.
code that he's got. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think that putting him directly up against like uh, a more systemic power, I think, is a excellent evolution of the character. And I was talking to Declan about this the other night. We were talking about how Punisher as a character in the comics should go from, how when he was created in the 70s and 80s, he was very much like a taxi driverist, like angry white New Yorker who was just going out to try to shoot anyone because he was so angry and frustrated. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think that transitioning from a character who does that to a character who is more like like Luigi Mangione, who's like trying to go out and kill these like people in power who he views as corrupt, I think is a good evolution of the character, because he is still someone who is unhinged and someone who is using very morally dubious methods to try to achieve their goal, but it's against a enemy that is far more prescient to the times currently. Do you know what I mean? And like,
Mhm.
I think it's a much more interesting explanation, because I think Marvel doesn't really know what to do with the Punisher as a whole. And I think that this show specifically showed you that there is room for the Punisher to still exist, maybe in a new way.
Yeah.
With Punisher specifically going up against like systemic powers that are abusing their power for their own personal gain, like Kingpin or like the task force, the anti-vigilante task force. So like, I hope Marvel Comics takes a little bit of an idea from this, because like that would be interesting to see the Punisher, like, kind of, instead of setting his sights on these random fucking random robbers of like a 16-year-old kid who's trying to rob a convenience store, instead he's going after like people the president, like Dario Agger or something. Like, wouldn't that be funny? Like, he's going after like this Thor villain who's the leader of Roxxon now, or like
Yeah.
any of those guys, because I think it would be an interesting route to take the character, because I think the show did a really, really great job of, and you can tell that the new showrunner they brought back for episode 1, 7, and 8 was the showrunner from Punisher, because Frank's stuff is really well handled. But yeah, I think that was something I wanted to mention. Gosh, I think there were some really cool directing choices made. I liked a lot of the shots they had with Matt in the lighting they used, especially like those contrasting shots when they would intercut Matt and Kingpin at the end of an episode, whether it was the first episode when Kingpin got elected, or if it was, what was it, the 6th or 7th episode when they were intercutting Kingpin beating up the guy who's got locked in his basement and Matt beating up Muse. I thought that was cool.
Muse, that was great.
That those kind of choices, those kinds of choices made the show feel closer to the original, with how they actually had an idea for a shot and actually blocked it out correctly, instead of just going, we'll just do it on a green screen, and I think that's really about it for this stuff I have to say, because I just enjoyed a lot about this show, and I think we kind of quite covered it.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the favorite moments and stuff. We'll go into the theories section. So yeah, I'm gonna start it off with the fact that next season, straight up, and we know this because we've seen set photos and all that stuff, and how the show ended. But yeah, they're pretty much gonna be doing like legit, like I know we said it like when the trailer dropped and we're like, oh, they're doing Devil's Reign, but no, like they're actually gonna be doing Devil's Reign like in the next season with the like the Thunderbolts like task force that they did in the comics. Instead, it's gonna be the Vigilante and a Vigilante task force. And again, we already talked about it much already. Like I'm like this angle that we're taking, like that they model themselves after the Punisher, which is really cool. Really cool messagery along there. Any thoughts you want to say on what do you think they're going to be doing? What they think they're going to address? Who might show up? Like, what's the plan?
I hope at least a couple named characters show up, and it's not just a bunch of like. Listen, I understand the thematic significance of Matt's army being just a bunch of New Yorkers that he works with, but also like the Kingpin crushed a dude's head in the last episode. Like, I don't know what the fuck you think Sherry's gonna do against that. Like, you need actual superheroes alongside the regular New Yorkers. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end when he showed his army and it was just like a bunch of dudes, it was like, oh, so we're fucked. We're fucked. Is what you're saying. Like,
I thought the same thing. Not gonna lie.
Luke Cage and Jessica Jones on there, or else we're fucked. Like.
That's okay. That's I'm gonna lie. When I saw that scene in Josie's barn, it's like, yeah, we need an army, and you see like, who was it? Was Matt? It was Sherry. It was the detective that we saw in the bank robbery in episode in episode 5. And then like a few other cops, like good cops, and I was like, I don't listen. This is Kingpin we're talking about.
No.
Yeah,
you guys are gonna get shot. Like, get Luke Cage in here. Fuck's sake.
So I'm gonna bring this question up to you, because it's funny. I actually have this as a part of the slides, believe it or not. But
nice.
Do you think that the Defenders will come back to join the Daredevil's army against Kingpin and the Vigilante Task Force? I hope to God they do, because that would be great to have at least like at least one of these characters come back. Know what I mean? But,
I think the only one who's coming back would probably be like, I think the closest you get is Jessica Jones. I don't know about Mike Coulter as Luke Cage, as much as I like them, or Finn Jones. I don't think either of them. I'm not sure.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's more likely they'll do Luke Cage than Jessica Jones. In my opinion.
Jessica Jones. Okay, Mikey, we get it.
No. What are you insinuating,
Mikey? Okay,
what are you implying? No. What are you implying?
No. I only say Jessica Jones because Jessica Jones was like the one name who was like leaked and rumored.
Oh, okay.
The show was in production. She was the only one I heard when it was in production with the original group that was who did episodes 2 through like 6. They were gonna Jessica Jones was gonna be the only character who showed up from the original. It was gonna be Jessica Jones and Punisher were the only two, and after Foggy or whatever got off screen or whatever, So that's why I say Jessica Jones, because she's been the name that I've heard the most since they've gone back into production. But like, yeah, would I like to see Luke Cage more than Jessica Jones? Of fucking course I would. I
didn't say Luke Cage just because like I've seen like mad interviews where people have asked Michael Kohler directly like when the show was like coming out, are you going to be in it? What's it? And as Marvel reached out, and he's saying, no, I'm past that. I'm like, bro, no, you're not. And like it's like
you're saying
if I get the call, I'm down to come through. If I'm like, bro, you're in this shit. You're just not selling. You're lying. You're lying.
Okay. I have to go see them because like that totally sounds like he's like he knows he's lying and he knows everyone knows he's lying. He's like
a fish.
Where he's sitting there like, oh man, I'm past that. I'm now doing Evil on like CBS, bro, and that's way more important.
Evil got canceled, bro. Like we like stop.
Yeah, like the fuck, you're not past getting a big ass paycheck to play the coolest motherfucker alive.
Yeah, and the thing is like, I mean. And that's what my thing is, was like, I would hope to see some of them in the next season, because like again, like they made all the Netflix shows canon, not just Daredevil, all of them. They're all canon to the MCU now due to like Disney Plus adding it to the timeline, which kind of confirmed it. But so like, why would you not utilize them? You can. What's stopping them besides like a lack of creativity?
What's stopping them is that Marvel is always so weird about doing the easy thing that's popular, and they always want to make it as contrived and as weird as possible instead of just doing like the very easy thing that people are asking for. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing with like the RDJ Doom casting, where it's like people were begging for Doctor Doom for years, and it seemed like it was just so easy for Marvel to put out a great casting call and get a good actor, but they had to make it so weird and contrived and make it very Monkey Paw-esque. We're like, hey, you got Doctor Doom, but he's Robert Downey Jr. and he's gonna be an Iron Man variant or some shit, And it's I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that's up their ass that they can't just like it's the same thing with the costumes, where it's like, it's so easy, just fucking do it. Like, I fucking saw you give Hugh Jackman that brown and yellow costume for 3 seconds in Daredevil and Wolverine, and it was great. Just do that for everyone. It's the same thing with these guys, where it's like, I know you guys can just pay these people to show up, and they would show up. So like, just do it. I don't care if it's for an episode. Like, fucking. These people were integral to the story of Daredevil. The least you can do is have them show up to lend a hand in the finale of Daredevil. Like,
yeah, man.
I hope these guys show up. I hope Marvel says, yeah, get these guys in here, because.
And also for the people that like, I've seen so many talks like recently of like if they do come back, people are like, oh, like they shouldn't bring back. Yes, they should. It was not his fault that the show was ass. It was the showrunner and the writers and everything else around him. Give him a chance.
That's what you do. That's what you do. You bring him back, and then if he still kind of sucks, then you go, all right, yeah.
All right.
You know what I mean? But this time you give him a chance with like actually, like an actually creative and solid team, and not Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, exactly. And he's genuinely like, and he's been kind of like low key. I don't know if you know, he's low key been campaigning, being like, listen, like he said in the interviews, he's like, give me a chance. Like I wanna do Janny. Like I know I can do Danny, and I'm just like, yes, like I said, give it a shot. I've seen pictures of this man ripped to shit. He can get jacked people. Like, come on, like he can do like. Listen, I think he can get it done. But is there an over under, like, because again, like, and now in the MCU they could have some other character show up. Like, do you have any other characters? Like, if you would want a character to show up for Devil's Reign arc in season 2, what character would you want? Me personally. I think that I would like to see Moon Knight show up, because they're not going to use him anytime soon.
I don't think. Okay.
And do a little retconning, so that he's a little more vigilante-esque, grounded-esque, like how he should have been. I think I would like that.
I like my honest gut feeling is that I don't think anyone's showing up. But like my hopeful feeling is that like maybe we get like throw Kate Bishop in there, like throw Kamala Khan in there, like you know what I mean? Like you got these people living.
Kamala Khan would be dope because again, you know that I like that episode where her dad showed up,
like,
so that'd be nice.
And like Swordsman's already in the show. I feel like it wouldn't be hard for Kate Bishop to want to go break him out.
Back. He's coming back. Like he's gonna do something. You know,
he's in the show. He's in the fucking show, and they showed him being a vigilante, and it's like, yeah, don't you think Kate Bishop would have been involved in this some way? Like, listen, okay, Haley Steinfeld is busy doing bigger and better things currently, which we will talk about later this week.
Yeah,
but I think she would be cool. I think Kamala would be cool. I think Moon Knight would be pretty cool, but would they be able to get Oscar Isaac? I don't know.
They're not getting Spider-Man, that's for sure. They won't let Sony won't let them.
I think they should get Kit Harington, Black Knight in there.
That's
crazy. They should throw in I think they should throw in Blade, say fuck it. I think we should get I think we should get one Avenger. I think it'd be funny if they had like Bucky show up randomly. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude. I'm just here because like okay, yeah, it is kind of like crazy if they didn't have anyone because it is insane how like all these characters are in New York, you know what I mean? And it's in the comics regularly just throw everyone in there and they're like, yeah, everyone who's in New York at the time chips in and helps out. But in the movies, they never want to do that. And it's like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. Like you're showing me in the Thunderbolts trailer, all the Thunderbolts are in New York City. And meanwhile, Kingpin is just out there like shooting people on the street and murdering people. And they're just gonna sit there and twiddle their thumbs and go like, ooh, the Sentry's pretty dangerous. And also, when the Void shows up in Thunderbolts, what the fuck is Daredevil gonna do about that? Is he gonna do anything? Where the fuck is Spider-Man? What's going on with any of this shit anymore? You're like, I just don't understand it. It feels so weird and disjointed at this point.
Yeah, man.
But it's a good thing that the show itself doesn't suffer from any of that because it's so good that you don't care about any of that. But that's why I think there would be an issue if they started bringing in characters outside. Is that then you'd scratch your head and you'd be like, yeah, wait, what the fuck? Why Kingpin's been doing this for years? That's why I'm confused. Why didn't they do anything then? This man's been mayor for like months now, and like what? Like Bucky's just Sam is just sitting there going like, well, you know, they voted him in. Like he's like a. Can you imagine that? They make
it is
Sam
what it
like
is.
A really like a centrist liberal. He's like, well, that's who democracy chose, and then Bucky's
that's who democracy chose. Oh man, that'd be fucking hilarious. I mean, I'll pose like two more, right? Because then she's in the show, she's a character in the show, and they showed her at the end when they did that montage of like, oh, Daredevil's gonna build his army or whatever. What do you think about I don't know how you feel about this, but what if they actually make Angela Del Toro the new White Tiger, like as her uncle's replacement?
Sure.
Granted, it's gonna be a little weird because she's like a kid, like she's like a young like an adolescent. So like, I think it'd be kind of funny if they put her in like.
Listen, we're finally seeing like these characters who are supposed to be like in their teens cast by teenagers, because like Tom Holland, like they're trying to tell me he's 20 and that boy looks 30 at least, you know, like I finally see like a character who's supposed to start out as a young teen as a superhero actually look like a young teen, which makes it like, you know what I mean, more concerning. Because like people forget because artists sometimes don't know how to draw kids, and it works in the comics because you're like, yeah, I know what he looks like he does, but like Miles was like originally supposed to be like 12 or 13, you know what I mean? And you don't really see it in your head until you see an actual 12 and 13-year-old, and you're like, holy shit! And I think that adds a level of realism to the show that I enjoy, where you like when you're probably gonna see her in the costume trying to do shit, and you're gonna think exactly what Daredevil's thinking of, like, holy shit, this is like a kid out here, and she's gonna be like, you know. He's gonna be like, yo, you shouldn't be here. And she's gonna be like, motherfucker, they killed my uncle. I'm out here. I'm doing this shit. And Daredevil's like, yeah, I'm not gonna stop you. So yeah,
You killed my uncle.
Like that, which would be interesting. I hope
the typical Marvel tradition.
Yeah, I hope they bring her in. I hope they bring back Elektra and give her the Daredevil fit. I think that would make the show for me. I would be happy. Because they asked
All right,
Elodie Young if
that
they
was
were
gonna
like,
be my next one, actually.
well, yeah, of course. If it wasn't on here, I would have killed you, dude. You would have been smited by God if Elektra wasn't
that
on
was my next one.
this list.
I was
Yeah, I hope they bring her back because I saw that interview of Elodie Young on like what was it, Jennifer Hudson show or whatever, and they asked her about Elektra, and she was like, "Yeah, I love Elektra. Elektra's so fun to play because I just get to show up and go, 'Hello, Matthew,' and then I get to like kick a dude's ass. It's so fun." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, that's exactly what we like."
Yeah. Listen, man.
Yeah,
I would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I hope that
I would.
Yo, your internet bugging, dude. You got delayed internet right now.
Speaking a little bit. No, I mean, for me, that was like my first like choice. Like, if they ever brought anyone back, bring Elodie Young back. Because I loved her in season 2 of Daredevil. And again, I'm loving Elektra as Daredevil right now. Like that is that. Like I feel like, but that's the best way to bring the character back. Is not have her just be like regular, just deadly assassin Elektra, because that didn't really work as well in Daredevil and the Defenders. Just no, make her come back as Daredevil. Like do that shit. Like that'd be amazing, and will blow people's minds, especially people that aren't reading the comics right now. Like that'd be really cool.
That if they just do that fit and adapt it 1-to-1, it would blow people's minds. They wouldn't even know what to think. It would literally be like feeding a Victorian child a Coca-Cola. They would just be like shaking and being like, because they'd see that shit and go like, oh my god, oh lord, it looks so good, dude.
Don't even like in the way they could even reveal it. Just say this is another Daredevil out and about, and people saying, oh, it's probably just a copycat. But then it's revealed to be Elektra, and then like Matt's like, "Oh my gosh, my wife! Like, holy shit! Like that would be great."
Matt does a Borat voice.
My wife.
My wife.
But yeah, man, I think that would be great. That would be great. I was gonna talk about that.
And then you just do like the and then you get the bullseye fight with her and Daredevil, and then her and Daredevil fighting Kingpin together, and you'd be like, oh my god, this is that'd be sick. That'd be sick, dude. So bring back Typhoid Mary too,
dude.
Fuck it, just bring everyone in.
Everyone back. That's more of the story is Marvel. Bring everyone back. To stop being pussies and just do it. Yeah, bro. I mean, I was gonna talk about the Punisher special, but I don't really want to talk about that. I have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, we hit on it. I hope it's good. I hope, because John Bernthal says that shit. He said that shit before this show, and then this show was like exactly what I wanted from Punisher. So I hope it's just another case of him saying that shit, and then the Punisher special is exactly what I want from a Punisher special. It's probably going to be him breaking out of the Kingpin's prison that he's got, while also intercutting like scenes from him serving in it's probably gonna be Iraq, serving in Iraq or whatever, and scenes with his family, like more backstory shit for Frank. So I it'll probably be good. I hope Swordsman's in that one because I love Tony Dalton. I love
he's so fun as Swordsman. He's so fun.
Yeah, he's great.
But yeah, bro, I got really nothing else to say. I think we pretty much covered everything. Yeah, bro. Yo, what's your final thoughts? Final verdict. What would you give Daredevil Born Again out of 10?
I'd give it a solid 7. I think I'd give it a solid 7. I think it's a because my rankings, I think way back when we did that like Marvel Netflix in review, I think I said 3 was a 10, 1 was a 9, 2 was an 8. Born Again is a 7, but it's a strong 7. It's one that I'm like, definitely check it out. Definitely worth your time, but just don't go in expecting the original show. So, lots of like.
For me, I would say the same thing. I'll give it like a 7 or 7.5. It's good, again has issues. Definitely the Netflix shows are better. I honestly personally I like this one more than season 2 for sure. But overall, I mean, and again, people, if you haven't watched the Netflix shows, and you go straight into this, you're doing yourself a disservice. I think you have to watch those shows first, to get better context of what's going on. But other than that, I think they did a good job. Solid start, and again, I'm more excited for this to set up for next season for sure. And yeah, man. So yeah, and that's gonna come out like next year, because I know they're filming it like right now. So
what they said is that they're trying to do a season every spring every year. So they're trying to get it out same time period every year, which I am glad more shows are going back to the yearly release schedule and doing weekly releases. That has been nice. I like the weekly release for this. It was very nice to watch something to look forward to. Gave me more time to talk about it and sit with it. Because let me tell you, I hated that whole period where it would just dump the entire season on you and you would just not know how to handle yourself, and you'd watch the 9 episodes and go, oh.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck did I watch?
And it builds more hype and more discussion when they do it weekly. So
yeah, and you'd have to wait years in between seasons. Like season 1, they dropped 3 seasons in like 6 years. It was like 2 years every season, and you'd be like, oh. Stranger Things, fucking 8 years every season. You know what I mean? So like, I'm glad we're back to like now every season we're doing it a year. You're getting weekly releases, and I'm like, oh, keep doing that. I don't care how you can release 80 seasons like that, and I'd enjoy it. So. Yeah, I will probably be doing this for the next season, same time, same place. But yeah, I'm excited for next season. I'm excited to see like the first fully fledged Daredevil season under the new showrunners and crew. Probably be pretty good, judging based off the finale. So yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, no. My fucking internet's like shit in the bed, but but
this is why we don't do this at 1.
Exactly, it's why we don't do this at 1. This is we gotta stick back to like 10 o'clock. That's what we should go back to. But yeah, man, it's gonna be hopefully we'll get like more like 5 seasons. I just want more Daredevil in my life.
Yeah. They said that they could go infinitely, and that always concerns me because I'm always like, okay. I hate that because that means that just says to me you don't have an ending in mind, and I'm like, listen, at least have an ending in mind to be like, okay, this is where we're ending to like we're ending all of our storylines and we're gonna stop here. So just in case we feel like not doing anymore, this is the ending. This is the finale. Because when they say infinite seasons, I feel like they're just gonna keep like Young Justice did that, and I'm like, oh, that's so stupid. Because now every season is going to be building to something else in the next season, and one day it's just going to get canceled, and you're just going to have nothing, and you're going to be like, cool, that was building to nothing. I watched that for nothing. And it's gonna. I hope it's not the same with this show. I hope they're like, by infinite seasons, they just mean they have infinite, 3-season arcs they could do, and then
exactly
they could be like, all right, this arc's over. It's the big finale. So I would be down to watch a lot of this. Like more seasons of this, but I just hope that they do have like an arc and storyline in mind.
All right, so that's pretty much it, people. So thanks everybody who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate the support. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, because that would be great if you could, because subscribers are important in YouTube, I guess. And also hit the post notification so you know when we drop new videos. I mean, we check out in terms of like a bunch of plugs. Check out our Devil May Cry review that we did last 2 weeks, like a little over 2 weeks, like 2 weeks ago. That was really fun. Check out some of the other after darks we've done. If you haven't seen the original, like the first review we did for Daredevil, there's an episode for that as well. Check out the clips and stuff like that. Check out the Deadly Class stuff. Check out the Transformers stuff. Check out the interviews as well. And again, we're gonna try to have more content for you on the way for 2025. We're kind of a little slow, but it's okay. We have lives.
Be here for Wednesday for that Sinners review.
So same as mentioned that. So shout out to Haley Steinfeld again, because that was funny when you're just like, oh, she's doing bigger and better things. So just to do a quick plug, so the next After Dark episode we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering the new Ryan Coogler film Sinners, which is going to be a little off brand for us because we don't really do non-comic book stuff that much. But this is a movie that I was important to me because I'm a fan of Kugu's work and I'm a fan of Michael B. Jordan, and I just want to talk about this. So we're gonna test this out. We're gonna test this out.
Creed has been in my top 4 on Letterboxd for like 8 years. Okay, we gotta talk about. You know what I mean? I'm very excited to talk about this because I really enjoyed it, and I think me and you are both. I'm seeing it again today. You're seeing it again Tuesday. So people better be there for that because we're gonna
be there for that, and we'll have some guests as well who I reached out that want to join on the conversation. So it's gonna be a good time for sure. But yeah, Seamus, we did it. We're back. We're back. And as always, people, again, thank you so much for support, and we love y'all. We appreciate y'all, and we'll catch y'all next time. All right, peace.
Mm-hmm.